Hello and welcome to the Technical Footballer Podcast, dedicating to creating better players with advice from professionals all across the country. Today we're joined by Spennymoor Town's Adriano Moke as he talks about dealing with setbacks within the game of football. So without further ado, let's hand us over to Adriano.
You'd be surprised, but one thing that even Curtis would tell you as well is our coach Rico used to always say, you never know who's watching. He always used to say that you never know who's watching. You just never know. And at the time, I don't know, it must have been a sign or something when he rang. And then obviously I went to meet him and it was like, I know everything about you. I've been watching you since you was 17. You should have played for Nottingham Forest first team. If it wasn't for the likes of, obviously the reserve wasn't there. Obviously they stopped the reserve at the time, so it was hard for young players to express themselves, if you know what I mean. So yeah, and then I signed for York City. It's crazy because I signed my first year. I won the playoffs. I won the FA Trophy. I won it was like it's a cup called like the Yorkshire, like West Riding Cup. I don't know if I've Curtis, you know what I mean. I think like the Cheshire Cups and stuff like that. But it's massive in Yorkshire, if you know what I mean. That means you're one of the biggest team in Yorkshire. I won that. So it was just crazy. It was crazy. I went from like doubting about football until going to Wembley, winning it twice in Wembley, playing in Wembley. It was crazy. Yeah, and then I went to few after York, and I left York. I went to Cambridge. Didn't really work out. At first, I was flying out Cambridge, but I was badly advised by an old agent of mine because he just, agents just can be on your ear every time. And me being young, I didn't know. I listened to him, and obviously I just went with it. And I started off well at Cambridge first, and then just stopped playing for whatever reason. Manager dropped down, brought in a new manager called Richard Money.
I know Richard.
Yeah, Richard Money came in. I remember speaking to him. It was like, in my plans, you need, but obviously you get your agent to try and find you a club or whatever. But at the time, Halifax was in Conference North at the time, but they always wanted me anyway. So then Halifax got in touch. When the January times, won Conference North for Halifax, and then that's when things. That's when I left. I left Halifax because the manager. I fell out with the manager because he just promised me a lot of things and he didn't stick to his word. And then that's when things.
I feel like we're on team number 25 here, Moke. So I think I play for every team in the whole non-league circuit right now.
Yeah. I was going to say actually, once you were done, I know that me and Matt have had on a few footballers, and when we've asked this question, like it's never a simple question. Like there's always been, I've been dropped, released, gone here. AJ said this, Beige said this, but I've got to say, Adriano, from our point of view, this is certainly the longest one we've had. That's quite a career. And I don't.
We're not even at the end of it yet, are we?
Yeah. I don't think you.
That's I'll just leave it to that then.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
Where you at now, Adriano?
I'm at Spennymoor now. Spennymoor town based in Durham.
Okay, cool. Going up this season?
It's a tough season with everything that's happening, so we don't know what's happening. So it's like up and down, but we've got a chance. We probably got a chance, but it's just a few big clubs in that league now. So we'll just have to see what happens.
Yeah, you got teams like Foiled and stuff that you're competing with, ain't
you? Yeah. So it's a tough league to get out.
Adriano, how found the stop-start with the league this season? Because I presume that you've had breaks in the circuit, being able to go back again. And
you know what? I found it's becoming like, I'm not surprised. You know what I mean? Like, we had it first time, and then few players, to be honest, few players even said it at the beginning that, like, with the start and start is messing up people's fitness, people not getting motivation, and then the manager's telling us to do certain runs, and people not really getting that kind of energy to do a run because we don't know what's happening next week or whatever. But with me, I've just been like tunnel vision, really, just been trying to like block everything out and trying to like stay with my fitness and just set my own personal goals with that, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I can only speak for myself. I don't know about others, but for me, it's been obviously it's times that it's been hard, but like you just got to deal with it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Definitely. So I know you mentioned a few clubs when you were explaining a bit about your early on, but what was the first club you say that you were released by, and you were like, oh, that has actually knocked me back a bit. That was a bit of a mental setback, should we say?
It has to be Leeds United. Leeds United is because I'm from Leeds, and it's like a boyhood team, and I always thought like that. My old man used to always say to me like, if you work hard, you obviously you get your reward, and I felt like I've did everything. I've did absolutely everything what the managers told me to do, and it was tough. It was really tough because my dad wasn't really there as much, if you know what I mean. Because you go to other people, like you go to academies, you see their parents there supporting them. I didn't really have anyone there. You know what I mean? I used to get like the 770s, plus to go to training by myself, come back late by myself. Sometimes didn't have money or anything, and I'll go through like just to pick up coins at my house so I can have enough. So I've done a lot, and then for them to turn around and saying that I'm not gonna get a scholarship, it really hurt, really really hurt. But yeah, but I'll probably have to say Leeds United.
You talk about support there, Mokes, and I know you said your dad around as much in that situation. Yeah. Who would you say was a support for you at that moment in time? Who could you turn to in that difficult situation?
I'll probably say my brother. My brother's like, my brother used to say to me, my big brother, Ferdy, if I get time, if I get a chance, I'll come and watch the game, or he'll come watch the game. He'll tell me what to improve on and stuff like that. So I'll probably will say my brother. I think he always says like, you're my biggest, like, I know obviously you have like the Messis and favorite players, but he always says you are actually one of my favorite. I love watching you play. Like it's just from obviously you being my little brother, from me seeing you as this and that, and probably say my brother. My brother's been there. Like, I'm not saying my dad hasn't been there, because my dad's like, he had to work and stuff. He had to support the family and stuff, and I didn't understand it at first, but now, you know, as you get older, you understand things like that, if you know what I mean. And obviously, sometimes I'll turn around and I'll look, and it'll be obviously, like I said before, people's parents there and stuff. And I used to turn around sometimes and I see my brother just running down, and it's nice to see, like, oh, my brother's come to see me, so I need to, you know what I mean, just work hard. But I'll say my brother, yeah.
Just following on from that, Adriano, you're saying that your brother was your biggest fan, loved watching you play. Josh, Matt, I must say, Adriano is a fantastic player, man. He's all action. He plays multiple positions. He's got a bit of everything, and from what he said, this is like going off the books, even like not as a friend, not as a teammate. Just from him, I've always said it's a bit of a travesty that Adriano has not experienced playing in the league yet. And we've come from a background where we met each other in Spain. We played for the same team in Spain, and we've seen a lot of success stories from our teammates that have come back, and Sam Cleese in the Premier League, the Championship, Jordan Hugo, George Thompson, who were really close out in Spain, playing in League Two now. And there's a lot more as well. But I've always wondered how Adriano hasn't got to that level. So
listen, I was sold when like his brother would prefer to watch him than Messi. Like, I know there's a bias there, but
yeah.
I'm sorry, Adriano. Me and Matt are gonna come watch you once it's all over.
Yeah, man. We'll have to get Spennymoor
coming
game.
down, mate.
No problem.
So, mate, I got a question though, right? So, you've been rejected by Leeds. How long did it take you to like sort of move on from that rejection? And is there anything in particular that you've done to sort of compartmentalize that and like to move on and help you push forward?
Yeah, it took me. It took me about a month, I'll say.
Yeah, because obviously you're young at this point, right? You're what, 16?
Yeah, 16. I was really down, and again, my brother, he's seen it in my eyes. He's seen it. It was like, you know what? Things like this happen. I mean, you just gotta bounce back from it, and you got roll your sleeve up and go again. At the time, I'm not gonna lie, I was just like, nah, I'm never gonna make it as a footballer. Because I think it was that point of a time when I think Rooney was just made it through as 18, and people like started to say, "No, I gotta make it because Rooney's made it." Then, but then someone just told me in the back of my mind, I was just like, you know, you need to basically just roll your sleeves up and just go again. And then obviously that opportunity came with Nottingham Forest, and I thought, I need to get prepared for this. Like, I need to go there. I need to look at myself and look at the things that what I need to improve on, what mistakes I made when I was at Leeds, this and that. And I just got that time there. I just got really, really prepared. And then, and I managed to I was so focused that I was just focused on myself. I'm really focused about this and that. And then managed to get a contract.
That's cool, man.
Lovely. And obviously the main topic that we've been speaking about there is Leeds, but there's obviously been a few other clubs which have kind of followed suit, from being dropped and released, etc.
Yeah.
Do you feel there's enough support from football clubs after you leave? I know it's something that's been talked about a lot after the Man City academy player obviously got dropped and released, and unfortunately the young lad committed suicide. So, but obviously like different contexts here. But what's your view on that situation?
I think there's support now. I think before there wasn't as much support. I mean, like before you could get released and you get someone always saying, "Oh yeah, we'll support you, or we'll get you another trial somewhere, or we'll help you out with another club." But that's never the case. I'm telling you now, and I think that's why some young players, they turn around and say, "You know what, football's not for me." Like you could, but with what you just said, like obviously with the young lad who passed away, I think footballers now get a lot of support, even in a non-league now as well. I mean, and but before, I'll probably say before, I don't think he was getting as much support as before.
It's growing, isn't it, Mo? It's like obviously now I know when you become an academy player, you become part of a PFA for like a lifetime, basically.
Yeah.
And now you've got PFA helplines. There's a lot of, if you go on the website, there's a lot of support. They're trying to do a lot more. I know like Liam McKenzie, ex-footballer, I played with him at Caines. He's doing a lot mental health awareness, setting up workshops like that. So I think like football agents and agencies, like they're trying to putting things into place, because it's a massive talk.
It's massive, it's really massive. I think it's even me, I talk to young players now, like if I say it's like, especially when I was at York, I've seen so many potential, and like I'll finish training and stuff, and I'll just watch the young players, because obviously you got to think like when I was young, another pro that I used to like, you always get one or two pros that I look back and look at young players, and I mean just to see how they are and stuff, and that's what I was doing at York, and I think that's what I was getting. I got a lot of respect from people at York, the young players anyway, and I have young players coming to me and saying, "What should I do? Give you advice or whatever." And for me, it's a young player to come to me and then I give him advice. It makes me feel good. I mean, because I want to try and help him out, if you know what I mean, in any kind of way. So yeah, I think now there's support, but like before, I don't think it wasn't that many support. I'll say, in my opinion.
And following on from that, Moke, so you're in a situation where you're a young lad, football is all you know, the only thing you've ever wanted to do. Was there at any point where you got released from when you was at Leeds or Forrest, or that you thought about anything else apart from football? Did you think about going into a career? Where was your head at around that stage?
To be honest, my head was when I got released especially when I got released from Leeds. I used to I don't know, something always back in my head just tells me every time I just said I don't want to play football anymore. But my brother's always there on my case, because he must see something like that. Maybe myself, I didn't see myself, you know what I mean? And I remember sitting next to him, and as he said, I'm done with football, crying my eyes out. I said, I've gave everything, and this is what I get, is you have players that turn up that don't train well. There are players that turn up late, that don't train well. I'm on time. I'll go in the indoors and practice and this and that. I wait for the last bus to go back home and then to get ready to go to school or whatever, and then just excited to come back, and then I get released. I'm done. And then I remember my brother's just looking at me and goes, all right, okay. Well, let me ask you a question. And you've been playing football since you were 6. Football's all you know. You watched your dad play football. What are you going to do then? Have you got anything planned? And that's when it hit me. All I know is just football. I mean, I was just like, right, I need to look back where me personally, my football game, where I can improve my football game, and to make sure the next move I go to, this don't happen again, if you know what I mean. So I think football's always been just part of me, but as I'm getting old now, I'm thinking of other stuff as well. I've started to plan more about maybe help with young players. I spoke to York already, because like I said, I've been at York for years now. There was just when you finish, would you come in? And then obviously, because I've seen you're good with youngsters and stuff, and something like that I like to do. And be doing my scouting courses as well. So I'm looking to get into that as well. So yeah.
No, that was a really nice story actually. That kind of reminds you of that old quote where a man realizes he has 2 lives, his normal life, and then all of a sudden his second life, where he realizes he only has 1 life.
Exactly, just yeah.
He has to get it all done and complete.
All done, yeah.
Definitely. So just moving on to the next question, Adriano. Off the pitch, how important was it for you to make connections with the right people in order to try and help you out to get to the next club, maybe? So it might be the case of you might have been released, or you might have been dropped, or you're maybe thinking about going elsewhere. How important was it for you to have connections through old players or old coaches on you, or maybe that wasn't the case at all for you?
I don't think that was the case, to be honest. It was just the case of I've been released. It's just the case of where do I go next? Who do I contact? You know what I mean, because trust me, in this world, there's a lot of jealousy in people, and a lot of people want you to do well, but not as better than them. If you know what I mean. I've asked players before, oh, can you help me out? With obviously, there's players that at that age, that had like sponsorship agents, that had like big deals. You know what I mean? Like players that I played with, and then I ask them, and they'll be just like, yeah, I asked, but they don't do anything. You know what I mean? So it was just one of them ones where my agent at the time, to be honest, called Seth Pot, who used to play from Bradford City, and he went a bit quiet with me when I got released. He went really quiet then, and I just obviously I remember just like texting him and said, "Listen, like, can you just get me a trial somewhere and go from there?" And then he texted me and saying, "Yeah, I'll sort something out. Don't worry, just keep fit, this and that." As soon as he texted me back saying, "Nottingham Forest want you to go in," as soon as I seen that text, I was just like, "Okay, when and how long for? I'll get ready." And then my mind was set then and then, like what I need to work on. My fitness needs to be up. I need to go there and be better than what they got, and stuff like that. And then that was just like you just said as well, just like some people like I just said, I ask one of my friends or something, can you help me out? Some people don't want you to do well or to do better than them, if you know. They don't want you to do well but not better than them, and you see people's true colours at sometimes, you know what I mean? So yeah, but luckily enough my old agent started me out with that move.
That's lovely. That. And then obviously just moving on from different clubs, how would you say that affected your development as a player? Obviously, it's a double-edged sword. Like some may say that, oh, a move from XYZ helped me to, learn different things and learn different leagues and have different coaches, and they bring up different coaching points to me. Or do you think it might have been the case of, if I was to stay at one club a little bit more longer and get used to the players that I was playing with, get a bit of chemistry here or there, and kind of develop myself in like one spot, I could have been better? Like, do you think moving around has helped you more, or would you say maybe staying in one particular place would have been more beneficial?
If I'm being honest, my football development got better when I was at Nottingham Forest and I got a call up for Portugal under 18s, 19, and obviously it's different level of football. Like English football compared to like abroad football is way different. That's what I never used to get it, but when I actually got called up and I went there, the football was just completely different. So I had to adapt to that, if you know what I mean. And then when I came back to Nottingham and I was trying to use that kind of football to the English football, and then I had to like switch it back. Like, you know what, I'm back for playing for Forest now. I need to play this. But,
and sorry, Adriano, just to touch upon that, what did that sort of football look like? Can you give us any details about how I was doing this abroad, and then I had to stop doing that here?
Yeah, because at Forest it's different, because Forest was like, you know, like, so we'll do a passing drill and it's everything tempo is intense, like fast tempo, like, yeah, that 2-touch or whatever, and you have to do things quick. But then when you go international, it was like the tempo was just like, it's like nice little flow, if you know what I mean. Like, it was so the weirdest thing, because I remember going there and I was just like, yeah. And then the coach we used to call Mister, it was just like, no, Adriano, come here. It was just like, I know English football is this, that, but here it's all about the technique. I mean, just calm.
Tranquilo.
Yeah, tranquilo, jogo, play. And I was just like, okay. And then I had to adapt to it. Like, bear in mind, Josh, I was playing with, like, I was the only Nottingham Forest player there. It was a lad from Real Madrid, Sporting Lisbon, Benfica. There was a lad from Arsenal called Rio Fonte. And I remember speaking to him about it. And it was just like, my friend, this is Portugal. this is international. This is not English, but I know what you're saying. And I was just like, yeah, the tempo's really, you know what I mean? And it was like, yeah, it's proper, it's calm. Obviously, English football is like, yeah. But like here, it's calm. And then that's the difference, just like, and when I came back from Forrest, I remember a session, like, I must have the ball for a long time. Like, I was just dribbling, and next thing, I got swiped. And in back of my head, I was like, all right, I'm back in English football now. I need to adapt to that. I need to adapt to that English football again. I need to switch it now. So, yeah, it was good, though, but it's good to learn from it. I mean, even Curtis will tell you as well, like, when we play like the Spanish team, when we used to play the Spanish team, it's just different. Like their technique is unreal. Like it's mad.
And would you say that was maybe down to how slowly they done things? Like, is it something you can pinpoint and say, yeah, I can kind of see where and I get their technical ability from, because maybe they slowed down their sessions a little bit? Do you think that kind of helps?
Yeah,
Definitely.
I think it's more like I don't know, but it's hard because football in English football, some got vision, and in, like, say, the Spanish football, their vision is just ridiculous, if you know what I mean. They'll see a pass, like saying, I'll see a pass or something and I'll do it, and people are like, oh, where did he see that from? I mean, where in English football, you see that pass, but you don't want to do it because it's risky or whatever, you know what I mean? And that's the pinpoint, if you know what I mean. Where in abroad football, they'll just do it. Like Glenn Hoddle used to be the best at it. He'll just do something and we'll be like, it's like, Curse, have you seen that? And I was like, yeah. And he'll be like, really, it's mad. Like, where did you see that from? So that's the two difference in my opinion, would say.
I think, following on from that, I think when you're playing the younger age groups, you're coming to academies, you do spend a lot of time, even in England, you spend a lot of the technical attributes. But when you get older and it starts to get a bit more competitive, there's your job, your career's on the line. You got a livelihood. Your training sessions are all revolved around winning, and I think the difference between the UK and playing abroad is that the foreign coach is still focused, even though you're a man that you've played multiple games in the league. They still focus on technical aspects and breaking it down from a better football. Exactly. So, you know what I'm saying? I think from the Glenn Hoddle point of view, we spent hours and hours per day. We did keep ups. We used to have to do like these challenges first thing in the morning. 30 degrees.
Remember that?
You had to do like 25, 50 keep ups with our wrong foot, and that would be something like. And then we had to go from that into keep headers and two touch players. What was the game, Mokes, on the tennis court?
On the tennis court, we used to do that. I know what game I had, but I forgot it. But even things like that, though, Curtis, like, you think, why are we doing this again? But then afterwards, you think you might just be like, keep up or whatever, and then you look easy, and I'm like, and people are like, oh, that looks easy. Yeah. And just from all that session we used to do, like before, I never used to really, like, you know, like when Rico used to be on me every time about keep ups or whatever. You know, just do it for time. Just don't think about anything, and I'll just be like, all right, you know what I mean? But now when I'm spending more and I'm doing kick-ups for time, and I'm seeing other players struggling to do it, I'm thinking, you know what, I gotta be looking like from all that. So it's different like that.
It's all about standards. I feel like
standards.
For you to be one to be the best in yourself as well, you got to keep those high standards. I think certain coaches will try out of you more than others at the end of the day, but it's down to the individual as well. You've got to be willing to put that work and time into.
That's it. That's it.
Definitely. Yeah. There's like a strong adjustment to, you know, do we win or are we caring about the development of? And no. There's a cool stories that you guys were sharing there. Like, it was almost like think about Mr. Miyagi from wax on, wax off, innit? Wax on, wax off. Like, why am I doing this on
exactly like that
day-to-day basis? Yeah, I'm all out of questions. Was there any more that you guys want to speak about? Any more you want to say?
I think I want to ask Adriano again. I've grew more of a brotherhood with Adriano.
Yeah.
He's more than a friend. We've been on holidays together and
God.
so as much as we don't see each other that regularly, we are still in contact. But
yeah,
I ask you, how are you as a man? How are you now? How you got a family now? You've got a daughter.
Yeah.
How I know the ups and downs of football. Where's your head at now, and how are you?
My head now, because I'll say I'm happy. I'm healthy. I'm happy. I can see my daughter grow. You know what I mean? And do you know the thing is as well? Like when I first had my daughter, all my problems just like obviously I just put that up, like avoid it. If you know what I mean? Like when I think about it, I've been through a lot. Now I mean, as you know, as you probably seen as well. But I'm good, and you just learn every day. You know what I mean? You're learning every day about life itself. You know what I mean? With all the circumstances that's happening now, so you know what I mean? And you mature a bit as well. Like things open your eyes, like from like friends and stuff. Like you know what I mean, certain things, like even football, like we're talking about. But I'm good though. Like see, I'm good. Like I just want to, like the conversation that we're having now is, I just like sharing my story out as well, and hopefully that'll help someone else as well to come and speak up or whatever. Because as everyone knows, that I've suffered with, you know what I mean, with mental depression and stuff. But apart from that, I've just been my vision, my goal anyway is just being tunnel vision. Like nothing can distract me, and then just focus on what I can focus on.
I think you hear it from the top level footballers now that, you know, they've been in the Premier League for however many. You see the pandemic situation at the moment, and even there, the most important thing is people taking care of their families and just making sure, you know, the self-care and everybody's safe. So sometimes football does, as much as football is life, it's our life from all four of us from all different aspects.
Exactly,
I mean,